In the run, hide, fight mentality, very seldom do you hear people talk about the fight, even though it can be very effective. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson. Today's lesson is a very important one, and it comes to us from Seattle Pacific University in Seattle, Washington. It shows a very brave student stopping an active shooter on his campus, and it's going to teach us some important lessons about being willing to get in the fight, about being able to counter ambush and to dogpile on a bad guy to end a threat. Go read the news story and you'll get a lot of information about this one. There's a timeline in the description actually, and this guy's already murdered someone just outside this building. He's deranged, he has a thing against all people, and he just wants to create havoc. And he points his shotgun at the student that's sitting here who doesn't notice him at first. So he continues to walk around and see what's going on, but now he finally kind of gets that student's attention. And again, if you go read the news story, he's going to tell him, if you move, I'll shoot you. So the guy just kind of sits there and he's frozen. There's another student studying in the tables on the bottom right, just off screen, and you can't see that student though until they're going to run in just a bit. Now you look on the left at the stairs, and this gal walks down the stairs, and it's just a normal day, and he actually does pull the trigger on her right there and puts an entire round of birdshot right in the high center chest on her. So, and then everybody else runs from there, and he's trying to reload, and this kid is a student at the school and a security guard, and he pepper sprayed that guy, hit him with the pepper spray, and then tackled him and attacked him and took his gun away from him. And now he's running off with the guy's shotgun as he's trying to deal with the effects of the pepper spray. I've sped it up a little here, and you see this guy now trying to reach for what we will find out later is a large hunting knife. And the student comes and tackles him again, takes the knife away from him, calls for help, and then some help arrives if you watch the longer version, and this one's over. I want to go and look at some significant lessons here. The first one's about situational awareness. At first, this student doesn't see that there's a problem coming because they're utterly unaware of what's going on around him when the guy's pointing a shotgun at him, who is a murderer. So please be aware of your surroundings. Don't be so engrossed in what you're doing that you don't see what's going on around you to be able to respond. Now, when he does finally see what's going on, this guy's got the drop on him really bad, so waiting for your opportunity to run, to hide, or to fight is incredibly important. And I think this student, in that moment, there's really not much else you can do. Next, the gal who's coming down the stairs. Of course, what are you going to do against a shotgun-wielding attacker? Well, paying attention would have kept her from being shot. But I also want to note that she took a full bird shot to the high center chest here, and she's still on her feet. I want to just pay attention to her because it teaches us how ineffective birdshot can be as a defensive round. Thank God it wasn't effective because she lived through this. But notice she's just taking a 12 gauge right to the face like that, and she's going to be able to just walk off. She's not even taking for a long time. She's walking off, and that tells me how ineffective it is. I do want to back up now again, and let's look at the defender's actions. And now he's going to come around here if we go back over to the right, and you notice people are running off. And so now our defender has to launch a counter ambush. The way to fight an active shooter is with a counter ambush. And our good guy is going to do that here as everybody's kind of heading off. You notice now our good guy comes out from concealment, and he waited for his opportunity that the bad guy wasn't looking at him, the active murderer was not looking at him, and he launches his counter ambush with nothing more than a pepper spray against a shotgun. And he is able to get some pepper spray on the guy. It's not an ideal situation for sure. I'd have preferred to have a firearm, but hey, it was what he had on him. Puts it on him, and then he's going to get aggressive and start practicing the 5 Ds. Hits it on him and gets after him again. Deflect, dominate, distract, disarm, disable. And we also notice here that, you know what? If you're going to get in that kind of fight, you should expect to get exposed to the pepper spray. Our good guy didn't mind that a bit. Don't know if he'd ever been exposed himself, but you got to just continue to fight. Now this one I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time about, but this guy's not completely out of the fight, and our defender takes his gun and runs off with it, not knowing if the guy has any other weapons on him. I certainly wouldn't recommend that. Make sure that you incapacitate this guy. If you got an active killer and you're able to get him down, don't leave him conscious in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because he has to come back here as the guy's continuing to be a threat and tackle him and get that knife away from him. So make sure you incapacitate that threat. All in all, this student is an absolute hero. He was awarded a medal for his heroism, and he gives us a pattern here that shows us about active shooter defense, that you got to launch the counter ambush, you got to be willing to be aggressive, use whatever tools you have available, and get after disarming that guy and tackle him. He did a fantastic job of protecting more people from being murdered and covered his asp.